Hi folks, Dave, the Honest Audiophile. Today I want to talk about 3 specific cables that I enjoy and recommend. Cables is a very controversial topic within the audiophile community, and I am not going to get into a lot of objective talk and specs, measurements, and all of that. This video is my subjective opinion about these 3 cables. Now, cables for me are more about changing the look, the feel, the build versus the stock cable. If some sonic improvements happen, awesomeness. But I change cables because of the way that it will help to enhance the experience while I'm wearing the IEM. Now, cables can make a difference, in my opinion, when it comes to the sonics. Most of the differences are very, very subtle and very slight. Some cables can make a significant difference over a stock cable. But again, that is not the reason why I'm changing the cable. It is not to alter the sound of the IEM. I want to review and listen to a product in stock form as much as possible. But sometimes the cable is just annoying, not well built, and isn't very good. And so an alternate cable has to be used. Now, cables can make a difference sonically, and I find that most of the differences in cables comes from the type of wire that is used, whether it's silver, copper, gold, some other sort of metal, and then also the gauge of it and the type of cable. The differences are very, very minimal at most, but oftentimes it is noticeable on gear that is revealing. Now, not all gear is capable of revealing differences, so do keep that in mind. And also, cables are not going to enhance your experience and take a $10 IEM and make it a $10,000 IEM. Cables are going to slightly and possibly can and may not, more than likely, change the abilities of the sound presentation that you're getting. Silver cables tend to be a little bit more sparkly, a little bit more energetic, and have a little bit more forthright presentation when it comes to details and resolution. They also have a little bit more clarity. They can come off a little bit on the cold side and can sound a little bit more analytical. Copper cables tend to have a little bit more of a natural warmth to them, a little bit better tone and timbre, and they also can have great details and resolution, but they're not quite as forthright and sparkly and energetic as silver cables. Hybrid cables mix the two together, and you tend to get a little bit of best of both worlds. And I actually tend to prefer hybrid cables versus individual silver or copper. But that does not mean I don't use the one or the other. It just depends on the IEM and what pairs with it well. So the 3 cables that I want to talk about. Let's start with the cheapest of the 3 cables, and that is the DUNU Lyre Mini. Now, the DUNU Lyre Mini is going to set you back $30. And it connects with 2-pin, has very nice, well-controlled ear hooks. It's fabric, nice and lightweight, black with like this little gold insert in it. And the nice thing about this cable is it does have a locking termination swap. So you can pull it out and connect 4.4 or 3.5. And the nice thing about it is when you get it connected, there's this little ring that just spins and locks it in place. And you have a very nicely built, lightweight cable that I thoroughly enjoy. This is a $30 IEM cable. You do not normally see swappable terminations in this price point, nor do you get a nice fabric cable. Normally most things in this price point are rubber and kind of feel cheap. This is a very well built, nicely built cable. It does have pronunciation, it could be off, Furukawa, I don't know how to say it, single crystal copper cable, 24 AWG, and it's a Litz structure design. So Litz copper, it sounds very nice. And as mentioned, on some gear, you may get a slight little bit better tone and timbre naturalism, a little bit more warmth. But it's very, very subtle. Most of the time I didn't notice it. Kind of dependent on the gear that I used. $30 for this DUNU cable. Fantastic value. This is an absolute steal of a cable, and I highly, highly recommend that everybody pick one up for $30, and it goes with the majority of IEMs. The next one is going to set you back $160, and this is the Rose Technics Faust. And the Rose Technics Faust, you can get it in either 4.4 or 3.5. Does not have swappable terminations. Now again, just like the other cable, it has very nice, well-controlled ear hooks, connects with 2-pin. This is a flat design. And then it has a nice metal split with a little bit of branding on it. A nice tight braid. And then a little bit chunky of a termination. This is 4.4. The fabric is slightly thicker than it is on the DUNU. And I find that just like the DUNU, this adds in just a little bit more of a warmth, a little bit more natural tone and timbre. And it still has all the qualities that your IEM is going to have as far as details and resolution and all that kind of stuff. It's just a very well built cable. It is a little bit on the stiffer side, but it is thicker. This one has H96 high conductive pins, Japanese Topura gold plated OFC connectors, and a mixed 4-braid 8-core 6N silver plated OCC single crystal copper cable. Overall, I really like this cable. $160. It is on sale currently on Rose Technics. And again, it is a very nicely built, good quality, and I think it's a good value for its price. Also, you get a little carrying case that comes with it. It says Rose Technics on it, and you have area to carry your IEM that you have connected to that cable. Now, the next cable that I want to talk about is significantly more expensive, and it comes in at $380, and that is the Rose Technics Golden Rose. Now, this cable is very nicely built. It's fabric again. It does have ear hooks that are a little bit unaggressive, and they do not come down quite as far. And so that's nice. It kind of just hangs and grips your ear a little bit better. Does connect with 2-pin. Has a nice gold cinch with some branding on it. The little cinch doesn't really stay in place. And then you can get different terminations, either 4.4 or 3.5, and this is 4.4. This cable is slightly thinner than the Faust is, and I do find that it is a little bit better controlled. It's not quite as stiff as the Faust, but it is still somewhat on the stiffer side. Feels very well built. And this cable has H96 high conductivity pins, Japanese Topora gold plated OFC connectors, and it also has a mixed 4-braid 8-core 6N OCC single crystal silver and single crystal copper wire. Now, I like this cable. It does only come in purple, and I like purple cables. Something about purple cables just kind of catches my eye. And so it's very well built. I love the look of it, and these ear hooks are extremely comfortable. The other cool thing about the Golden Rose is you get this extremely nice carrying case. Got some branding here on the top. And when you open it, whoops, get some paperwork. But when you open it, you have two little cases up here. You got this area up top that you can store various stuff with. And then you have this big area here with another drawer. You can get a lot of IEMs, cables, all kinds of stuff. Very, very well built. This is actually a really cool box. I think that this should come with some IEMs, truthfully. So for $380, the Golden Rose does sound very good. I find that the Golden Rose actually does improve things a little bit more noticeably than the other two. I do find that it has a little bit more clarity, more naturalism, a little bit better tone and timbre, and it does have a little bit more forthrightness when it comes to details and resolution. And that, you know, again, depends on what you have it connected with. But at $380, it's pricey. And so it's not quite as much of a value as the other two. So cables, they can make a difference. And I do hear differences on various IEMs, and it depends on, the gear that you're using and what you're listening to. And there's so many variables. But I think the key for me is that when I'm listening with an alternate cable, does it improve over the stock cable? Is it doing something either similar to the stock cable as far as the tonality, the details, and the resolution, and everything's there, but is it just enhancing that? Is it making it more clean, more clear, and just more direct and more distinct? Or is it altering it to the point where it's adding in and boosting the bass, or bringing in the fullness of the mids, or adding in more treble, more, brightness or hotness? Is it falsifying the soundstage and making it super large and things like that? If it's enhancing it in that way, in my opinion, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something that's going to just enhance the experience of the sound of the particular IEM. Now, sometimes an IEM does have a deficiency, and I am looking to add something, and maybe it is a very cold and sterile type of sound, and I want a little bit more naturalism. So I will try some different cables and see if a copper cable will bring that forward. I'm not looking for it to be this significant difference, but maybe just a little bit of an enhancement. So there are places for that. But when I'm reviewing, I'm going to review using the stock cable. And if there's a significant difference in an alternate cable, I'll mention it. But for personal listening, while I'm on the go, while I'm on vacation, while I'm not in reviewer mode, I do roll with some alternate cables. Cables, very controversial. And I know that the differences are extremely hard to hear. But I hear them. And I like cables with IEMs. And there's many others that I've reviewed on this channel in which I've talked about this. But the majority of differences that I hear are the differences between silver, copper, and all the other different types of hybrids that you can have. That's it. That's my take on cables. These three I highly recommend. Rose Technics Golden Rose coming in at $380. And then you have the Rose Technics Faust at $160. And then you have the True Value and the amazing, highly recommend everybody get one, the DUNU Lyre Mini at $30. It's been Dave, the Honest Audiophile. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Speaking of next video, somewhere on the screen, subscription links, notification bells. If you haven't already, please check those off. Don't forget to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down to the video, and check out all the links down below. There's all kinds of information down there regarding how you can contact the channel, follow the channel, support the channel. All that kind of stuff is listed down below. And speaking of supporting the channel, I want to thank my supporters through Patreon and YouTube memberships. Thank you very much for all that you provide to the channel. It is much appreciated. And if you are interested in supporting the channel through Patreon or YouTube memberships, you can also get benefits like videos early and access to my private Discord server. And then you can also support the channel with one-time gifts through YouTube and PayPal and Venmo. And I'd greatly appreciate any one-time gifts. If you're wanting to support the channel in any way, one-time gifts or monthly subscriptions, it'd be greatly appreciated, and check out the links. Also down below, there's all kinds of other information regarding gear recommendations, music recommendations, and all kinds of other things. So check out the links down below. And lastly, don't forget to enjoy the music, and that honesty is the best policy.